Parshas Nitzavim. Ne'emar, it says in Lekuti Torah. Ba'davorim muva'im, and these words are also brought b'reshimus in the notes. In the diary of the previous Rabbi, Kavod Krish Morichami Admor, Parshat Nitzavim, Tav Shin Zayin. It says like this, that Parshat Nitzavim, this portion, this Torah reading that we read, is called Nitzavim. It is always read on the Shabbos and before Rosh Hashanah. Not directly, but it's always read before Rosh Hashanah. Pa'amim, sometimes it's nikrat Yachin in Parshas Vayelech. Sometimes it's read, Parshas Nitzavim is read alone. But in any case, Parshas Nitzavim is always read on the Shabbos before Rosh Hashanah. All right, one of the Shabbos is before, let's see. But this Shabbos, what is it? This Shabbos is Nitzavim. The next Shabbos is Vayelech. Next Shabbos, okay. Rosh Shabbos is the right after that. Okay, why is it that Parshas Nitzavim is always read before Rosh Hashanah? The reason is like this. Kol Shabbos, every Shabbat, has in it Yemei HaShavua, and includes in it all the days of the week that are after it. V'kashura aleim, and it is attached to them. Therefore, on the Shabbos before Rosh Hashanah, we read Atem Nitzavim Hayom. Hayom refers to Rosh Hashanah. Whenever it says in the Torah Hayom, or in the prophets, Hayom usually refers to Rosh Hashanah. Hayom, that's the big day. The big day is Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the judgment day. Kishemegia Hayom, when it comes to this day, Rosh Hashanah, it has to be Atem Nitzavim. You have to be standing firmly. Al Kol Neshamot Yatsev, all of the souls have to stand firmly before God. But Kol Neshamos B'Mida Shava, and all of the souls, Jewish souls, are equal. From the heads of the tribes, the heads of the Jewish people, the big important rabbis, the leaders, and from the, how do you want to call it, the apparently least valuable Jews, the least practical, useful Jews, those who just draw water, cut wood and draw water. Even though it's very important to cut wood and draw water, but anybody can do it. To be a head of a tribe, not everybody can do, unless you live in the state of Israel.
Yeah, but the woodcutters and the water drawers, that refers to the Gileadites and the Canaanites.
Some of them, yes. So even them, all of them, are all standing in front of God. L'gabi chota v'etzecha masbir, it says, Rashi, shemedu barba Canaanim, it's talking about the Canaanites. Shabo lead Gayer, that wanted to convert. Dugmas of Gibonim, like the Gibonim that came in the days of Joshua. Finit kablu ach v'rach biglal ashavua, and they were received only because of an oath that they took. V'gam him olim livnei Hashem, also them, and it ended up it was even a false oath. They also stand in front of God together with Shar B'nai Yisrael, with all the rest of the Jews. In a way, kulachem, all of them are unified like one. What does this mean? Kulachem ke'echad, it means that all of the Jews are like one. It's not expressed only in the fact that echad sovel mishnayu, that each person is able to, what do you say it? To bear, to accept the other Jew. Limarot rosh v'asheni ish pashut. Even though that one person you happen to be the head of the Jewish people, big genius, and I am just a water drawer. Anyone can draw water, no big deal. So you say, okay, I'll accept you. I won't reject you. Says the Rebbe, that's not enough. Ela af yetera mizu, even more. Him mekablim ze mizeh, that each one receives from the other. The simplest Jew has something to teach the most developed and intelligent and etc. Jew. I mean, the fact is, if you learn from everyone has something to teach. Excuse me. Ezu chacham alomen mikol adam. Who is wise? Someone who learns from everybody. I mean, everybody is created by the same God, and everybody has something special that nobody else has. But for sure, that's the way of the Jewish people. All of them complete one another. The fact is that also on Rosh Hashanah, the whole world is judged, not just the Jewish people, but the future of the world is in the hands of the Jews. Just like the body, mashlimi maro, it's just like the person's feet. This completes the head, and the mashlimi barosh, varegel zeh et zeh, and the head completes the foot, and the foot completes kol echad mihem gam barosh, also the head and also the foot, and lo shlemos biladei hasheni. Neither one is complete without the other. A whole person has brains and he's got toenails. If he's missing his toenails, he's not really a complete person. I mean, he's functioning. You can function without an arm, without a leg. People can function without their lower extremities. Right? There's people that are quadriplegics, but it's still not really the ideal man. That's not a complete man, if you want to call it. He's a handicap. So therefore, what a complete man is, a person is the biggest genius in the world, but he needs his toe. Doesn't have a toe. There's something, right? It might not even affect his walking, but still he's not complete. If you'd say, would you like your toe back? You'd say, sure, why not? You know, it's just too painful. Zu avodah v'nidreshet b'Rosh Hashanah. This is what has to be done on Rosh Hashanah today. Kadei shetiyeh efsharut levatzeya, in order we can carry out our job on Rosh Hashanah. Nikra b'Torah, we read the Torah on the Shabbos before Rosh Hashanah. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem. You are all standing today. Roshechem shivteichem chotzei ve'etzecha. You are all standing. All the Jews are all standing together from the heads of the tribes until the water drawers of water. V'akriya b'Torah ma'anika et hakoach lavi et hadavarim lidei pol. And reading the Torah gives us the power to actually do it. And it is to learn something special, to receive something positive from everybody, to find the positive value of every single Jew. And when you do that, you're going to find in every person. But love begins at home. First of all, you have to love your brother, then you can love others. Kaderach Shamozbar, like it explains in the Torah Chassidic, the reason for this, that in Rosh Hashanah we say the sentences of Malchios, Zichronos, Shofros. On Rosh Hashanah, on the Musaf prayer of Rosh Hashanah in the day, it is unlike any other prayers of the whole year. All the prayers of the whole year have either 19 blessings or 7 blessings. All the other blessings are Shmona Esrei. They have 19 blessings. That's what's called the Shmona Esrei. It's really, Shmona Esrei means 18, but there was added one more. So there's 19 blessings. Or on the holidays, and on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, there's 7 blessings. The 3 beginning and the 3 end are basically the same the whole year, but there's only one in the middle. Instead of having 13 blessings in the middle, there's 1 blessing in the middle. Only exception is the Musaf prayer of Rosh Hashanah. Then in the middle there are 3 blessings. 3 blessings. One of them is Shofros, one of them is Malchios, and one of them is Zichronos. Not in that order. First of all, we say 10 sentences. We bring 10 sentences from the Torah, and proving that God has to be a king, and then we make a blessing. Blessed are you, God, king. Then we bring 10 sentences from the Torah, proving that God must remember us. Then we make a blessing, Zocher, you God, you remember. And then we make 10 blessings saying that God listens to the call shofar, listens to the shofar, and then we make another. This is, why do we make these 3 blessings in the middle, add on these 3 blessings in the middle of the Musaf prayer, and we bring all these sentences from the Torah, because by means of this, means of bringing all these sentences from the Torah to prove that God is a king, that God remembers, that God hears the shofar, we bring proof, mina Torah, she'HaKodesh Baruch Hu, that God has to be a king. And he has to remember us. What do you mean he has to? He said it in the Torah. The Torah is eternal, just like God. If he wrote it, he has to do it. Ubaman, how? By means of the sounding of the shofar. By means of this, nigram, she'achen adavar na'aseh b'poel, that it will actually occur. And how does this is what we are trying to do. Make God into a king, make it that God should remember us, even though we're so insignificant and so nothing, God should remember us, and that God should hear the sound of the shofar. But in order to do that, we have to be standing together, Nitzavim together. Every Jew has to accept and to receive and to see that every other Jew is necessary. It's one part of one big body, and every other Jew is part of that body. La'achar shene'amar, after it says, Atem Nitzavim, from the chotev etzecha, from the wood choppers and the water drawers, etc., it says, La'avrcha babris Hashem Elokecha, to make you a covenant with God. Kolomar, avoda zu shel atam nitzavim kulchem, by means of actually standing all together with all the Jews, realizing that we're all one body. Mehave hachana, this is the preparation to la'avracha babris, to pass you through the covenant. Kritat brit shebein Kodesh Baruch Hu lebein Yisrael b'yom Rosh Hashanah, that God makes a covenant, a promise with the Jewish people on Rosh Hashanah. Could you pick that paper up, please? See that? Sicha. What is this idea of making a covenant with God? Didn't we already make covenants? We made a lot of covenants. If you're a Jewish man, most probably you have a circumcision. It's a covenant. But Gashmius, we see, okay, Herschel, on a Roim, we see, you want the fan to be on you? No. But Gashmius, on a Roim, physically we see, Sheshnei Ohavim, 2 people who love each other, good friends, Ne'amanim, faithful friends, She'avasam Mekoda, Mekorah be Gorem Mesuyam. That the love that they have for each other has a certain reason why they love each other. Right? They're brothers, they're good friends, they're in business together, went to school together, they fought in the war together. Im mishum she'echad makir b'sugulosov shel hasheni. It could be that one of them sees the tremendous good qualities in the other one. Or mishum shu ohev, because he loves him, kadei shahala yahavo titzmach lo mikach tova. Or you love someone because you want the other person to return that affection so that he'll do good favors for you. Okay, usually that's the way it goes. Usually you have people that are friends, and there are friends, how do they say? We're friends till the end, and this is the end. That something happens, and all of a sudden they stop being friends. Right? One of them says a word, doesn't invite the other one to his wedding, or etc. Hari keshezeh roeh ba'atzmo migrat mesuyamah, when the person sees something wrong with the other person, hu choshesh shema yargish chavero b'davar metoch kach v'yigrom rifayon ba'avasom. Kol shechen, then he sees something wrong with the other person, so he thinks maybe this is going to stop our friendship between each other. Very common, you see. very good friends, known friends, and they become big enemies afterwards. Familiarity breeds contempt. You get to know somebody very well, and you have a bad day, and pink, exactly on that day when you have a bad day, the other person happens to throw some not nice word to you, or you think he did, and that's it. Right? They're not friends anymore. It could be that if there's a good reason to stop this affection and connection one to the other, it could be that not only will you stop loving the other person, you'll hate the other person. And if their love is still strong, so what do? Nasid kritat brit. Shavat titkayem la'ad. What do? They're two friends. They realize the good qualities, each one in the other one. But they see what's going on in the world. And there's all sorts of contentions and arguments. And contentions is the word? Contentious, I think so. Arguments and difficulties and misunderstandings between people. And so they make a bris. They make a covenant. And they say, we are going to remain friends no matter what. And some people even make a blood covenant. I've never seen it done, but I heard there is such a thing. Right? They make a blood covenant. They cut their finger or something. They put their fingers together. We have one blood. We have this. And make a covenant. So this is a covenant that forever we are going to be friends. Make a bris. A bris. This is even more than ideally getting married is supposed to be like that, but certainly not. So therefore people make a covenant, a bris, that no matter what happens, we are going to always be friends no matter what. And then even if they get separated and time separates them or one does something wrong, they'll always remember this original bris that they had. Kach tochen ha'avra. I'm sorry. Kach also. Gam l'gabi ha'ava shemein kodesh baruch hu ben Yisrael. So it is also the love of God and the Jewish people. K'shem Rosh Hashanah, when it comes to Rosh Hashanah. She'az ha'ava hi chazaka me'od. On Rosh Hashanah it's very strong, the love with God and the Jews. Shekein omdim az acharei avodas Rosh Chodesh Elul, because the Jews are now after their service of God in the month of Elul. Hamasiras achatayim, that this negates all of their sins, which conceal the true love of God. Nasis az krisis bris hadadit. Then on Rosh Hashanah we make, when things are really good, we make a covenant. Bnei Yisrael makadshim et HaKodesh Baruch Hu mitkashrim. The Jewish people attach themselves to Hashem. B'itkashrut atzmit shalamayla mitam v'daz, which is an essential attachment, which is above logic or understanding. Nothing is going to weaken this love between us and God. Kach shekol davar sheba'olam, nothing in the world can possibly weaken this moment of love. It's almost like a person makes a vow. A person makes a vow. He wants to stop smoking. Suddenly, in a moment of clarity, he realizes how ridiculous it is and what a waste of time it is, and how it's exactly the opposite of what he wants to do, and it's hurting his health, and it's making everything dirty around him. But he can't stop himself. So what does he do? He suddenly, in this moment of clarity, makes a vow. I will never smoke again. Never smoke again. Then, right, as soon as he takes this vow, well, that was really good. Somebody says, you look a little weak. Would you like a cigarette? He says, sure, I will. All of a sudden it reminds, I will never smoke again, right? Especially if he swears to God. You're not supposed to swear to God for that reason. That gives him power, that he remembers always this vow that he took. The same thing is here. Two friends, they want to remain friends forever. In a moment of clarity, they realize how good the other person is, what good qualities he has, so they make this vow. And then if the other one does something wrong to him, they say, listen, they make excuses. The reason he did that is probably he's had a bad day today, maybe he hasn't slept enough, maybe He's a shortage of sugar, maybe too much sugar, maybe too little. La'orer et HaKodesh Baruch Hu, to arouse God, kiviyachal l'kasher, to tie, to make a vow with the Jewish people from above knowledge, above understanding. How can we make Hashem, can we cause God to make the same vow that we make? That He will love us no matter what. A bris. Namely, devotion above understanding, no matter what the Jews do wrong, and the Jews have done not such nice things to God. Shekain al yedei seichel, al pi seichel, hari adam zeh hari hu rosh ve'ilo hasheni shoyev mayim. This person is a big high person, and the other one is a water drawer. So naturally, the big rabbi feels superior. Uma kesher benim. So what connection have I got to this riffraff? Kederech shemuzbar legabi inyan b'kol miodecha. It means that you must appreciate every other Jew with all of your being. Even though it's your own appreciation, but by means of this, uniting yourself with another Jew and appreciating every other Jew and receiving from other Jew, realizing this person has something that I can't do without. I don't know what it is yet, but he has something to do with it. He is part of the same body. Without him, I'm not complete. That makes God, that causes God to make a same agreement with us, a bris. That's what it says, L'avracha b'bris. Bram, okay, Herschel. Kulan u'ke'echad, all of them are like one. Chayev liot be'emet. It has to be really. Al adam ladat, your person should know, she'achein kachu hametziut, so it is. Limerot she'u choshev et atzmo. Even though that a person thinks that really the fact is I'm really a very high and great person, and the other person, he's just a simple nothing. But now I'm going to be equal to him, which shows how amazingly great I am, because despite the fact that I really am great, but I lower myself down to the other person. It says if you do that, then it's not really truly being equal to the other person. Hari nosav al kach she'i efshar ladat mihu arosh. Besides the fact that you can't really know who's the head and who's the it could be this other person is higher than you. Umiu regel, and who is the foot? Shekain rov marich adam et azulat b'darga pechuta mima shehu be'emet ve'et atzmo yoter mima shehu be'emet. Because usually when a person comes to evaluating other people, it's not so difficult to see their faults. And when you come to evaluate yourself, it's very easy not to see any faults, only good qualities, even if they're imaginary good qualities. And the other person, the other people, you see not good things, even if they're imaginary. That's the way life is. Hari milvadzos af im netzius hu omnom kazot shehu hu arosh. Even if it's really true, you really are the head, and this person is a worthless nothing. Yeshnu yitaron l'regel al rosh, but still, nevertheless, there is an advantage to a worthless nothing on the head. The feet, the soles of the feet, the bottom of the feet have some advantage over the head. Why? Because without the feet, you can't go anywhere. Because the completion of the head can only come through the foot. That's what makes the whole person. Nasu chotve eitzim, the Mishkan, the Mikdash davka. That's why these people, the Givonim, they became wood choppers for the Mishkan and the Mikdash. Lo kol ben Yisrael Mikdash. Not all of the Jewish people were in the Mikdash. Lo kulam daru b'Yerushalayim. Not all of them lived in Jerusalem. Talking about when the Jews came into Israel. Shamo Yurak Anshe Mamad. In Jerusalem, there were only the special people that there was regular prayers that they would sing for all the Jewish people, songs and prayers. Anshe Mamad. And they would stand there for when the sacrifices were made, they would represent all the Jewish people, the Tamid offerings, etc. Shaluchi Beit Yisrael, they were the messengers, the representatives of all the Jews, called the Anshe Mamad. But the Avarosam Shal Givonim, but the Givonim, They worked in actually the Mikdash. They were chopping wood for the Mikdash. The reason is, Levisha amitiot shlemot amayla tamuna davka berega. Because even though these Givonim, they were the lowest level Jews you could possibly have. I mean, they became converted. They tricked Yehoshua. They said we came from far away, and said, but nevertheless they became Jews. And even though they weren't much of a level of Jews, but they became Jews. And to show that their level in some ways was even higher than everybody else's, they worked in the Beis HaMikdash. V'zeh akesher shel shavua l'davar zeh. This is the whole idea of making an oath. A shavua shehayotah b'shat kabbalat hagivonim, shavua nalit mitam v'dat, megiah le'etzem ha'nefesh. V'yilu etzem ha'nefesh mitbateh davka b'rega. This oath that was made, the Yeshua made this oath that he accepted them. And this was at the time, an oath is something that comes from the essence of the soul. He accepted them, therefore, and where was this expressed? Davka in the foot. Talmud, maybe close the door if you can, if you don't mind. Kishi Yehudi mitbonen, when a Jew thinks, contemplates, Shalivnei Tekiyos b'Rosh Hashanah, that before the shofar was sounded on Rosh Hashanah, Yivakesh, he makes a request, Yivchar lanu et nachlatenu, choose us our portion at Gaon Yaakov asher ohev Selah, the glory of Jacob that you love. Hari mashmuto shel yivchar lanu, that what it says that God, you should choose us. Hikach v'lo acheret. It means Hashem, you should choose us and don't choose anybody else. Kishem mitbonen she'inyan ha'bechira bo davka me'atzmuto yisbrech. When we say God choose us, okay, Herschel, when it says choose us, the power of choosing free will, that's the essence of a human being. So it's also the essence of God. In that way, we're also created in God's image. When we say that God should choose us, it means that he should choose us from his essence. Na'ala mikol ha'madid, it's above all measurement. In other words, choose us without any reason. Na'ala mikol ha'gbalot, chafshi. This is what's called free choice. Hashem chooses the Jews free choice. In other words, that doesn't depend on anything. No matter what the Jews do, God chose us. Mitbonen, when a person contemplates, also, be'en arech lagabi atzmuto, how infinitely incomparable is God's essence to us, much greater than the difference between the heads of the Jews and the lowest of the Jews. Yoter misha'en aroch la'olam asiyah lagabi olam atzilut. In fact, it's if you want to call it the distance, the incomparableness between God, the Creator, and us is much greater than the difference between the highest spiritual world and the lowest spiritual world. Atzilus and Asiyah. Ein aroch la'olam atzilus lagabi ein sof. And so there is, if you want to compare Atzilut to Ein Sof, to the Infinite One, Kol Yachas Shel Ein Aroch Shito'er Einu Me'ava Klal Mashal L'Yachas Ein Aroch L'Vein Bore L'Vein Nivroim. You can't compare, no matter what type of a comparison you want, the distance that there is between the essence of God and any of his creations. Keitzad Mariv Hu Oz Levakesh Me'atzmuto Yivchar Lanu. If so, how can we possibly request from God that God should choose us. Okay, Herschel. Kisha Adam Yitbonen, when a person thinks about this, Yaruch et atzmo, Yarich et atzmo, Lo yishar lo panoi, Larich et hasheni. If a person thinks about this, and he measures himself in comparison to the essence of God, then he'll realize that it's foolish for him to compare himself to another person. The head of the Jews, the greatest Jew of all, right? The greatest Jew of all, and the least Jew, sitting in some prison, but a terrible person, right? Can you compare between the two of them? No comparison, right? Yeah, you think so? Compare between this greatest person of all, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Rebbe, whoever you want, and Hashem, the essence of God. No, there's no comparison, no way of comparing. So if keeping that in mind, the comparison between the greatest Jew and God, how it's incomparable, then the comparison between this greatest Jew and the lowest Jew is like nothing. Absolutely nothing. Take a person that has $100 billion, right? And a person that has nothing whatsoever. He's in the street, a total bum in the street. Right? Compare him to the king of the country. The king can take the richest person and make him the poorest person and make him richest instantly. When you do that, then you have no way of comparing yourself to another Jew. Let's just make one. No, we'll have to do this tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow, God willing.